So yeah, as been introduced, my name is Giovanni Morreale. I work for Splunk since almost 5 years. I have a background in APM and security, and so I've been like in these 5 years seeing a bit the evolution of the security, among our customer. So I don't want to be very technical in the sense like it's more like a vision or strategy that Splunk has. That's what I want to introduce today. Obviously, you're free to ask a question. I can answer at the end of the session, as well as we can answer offline. Yeah. So let me see if that things work first of all, because we have some problem. Okay. So what we see today is that the networking, the enterprises, the way that we carry data has changed a lot. So before you have your perimeter, so your premises where enterprise and customer, will have all the data. Nowadays, we use more and more a mobile, any kind of smartphone and all the, tool that we use, or like as let's say digital or digitalized, if you want. So all this information, wanted or not, need to take into account for any security person or any security company. So basically, cyber issue can arrive from everywhere. So the perimeter of your security that you need to secure has changed, has broadened. So we say more and more that all data is security relevant. Once upon a time, you would have a firewall, intrusion detection, some kind of scripting stuff, and you would think that you protect your network like this. Nowadays, with digitalization and data growing faster, and like we're talking now about zettabyte of data, it's basically impossible to have the same approach as before. So again, all data is relevant, and all data needs to be taken into account for protect your network, so customer network. So basically, still today we see very few kind of let's say new approach, and still a kind of reactive game. So not proactive but reactive game. So that means like security tools deliver alerts, not insights. So alerts like what it's about, where it's from, what is it, what has to do with the business, what has to do with the applications, like an alert. But then what? If we continue like this, we will receive thousands of alerts every day, and we're not copying because we are not, we don't have insight. The process is not optimized because nowadays, as I go often to the customer and I say like you need to have a process in place before even as talking about tools and things to protect you, to have a process. You know already about GDPR, right? So you need to know exactly who's doing what, how, what is the escalation, etc. So you will see Splunk will help you with that. So people, obviously, you need to skill people, maintain people, but they need to be also skilled in a new, kind of way to understand the process of security. And also, as we said, the scale. Nowadays, you don't have anymore, a simple network, but everything can be like, like on premises. You're talking about cloud, MSP. You have, a different business requirement. Online stuff, new technology, everything is, chairs can be digitalized, everything is mobile digitalized, so everything is digitalized, so you need to take into account these things. So here's our vision and strategy, basically from a reactive mode, so search and investigate, like scripting and grab stuff, and we go to a kind of a proactive monitoring, alerting, security situation awareness. Again, these things we will hear more and more with GDPR, with that, kind of understand the context of security, security related to business basically, and real risk inside. So you need to know if an alert is, has more priority or has more risk compared to another. So the 2018, so this year, technology enabler or switching basically from security alerting only, and that doesn't work anymore, to context-based prioritization. And that's, for example, what GDPR is asking. So what are your business requirements? What is your business? Why are your customer end user? What is the very critical application? So is an alert coming from that thing, has the same weight of an alert coming from, a video internal kind of game? No. So you basically need to prioritize this alert. And you prioritize only if your security tool understands the business context. So they really need to understand business context, otherwise you don't do anything. From monitoring only to monitoring automation. You'll see that in our kind of vision, actually it's not vision anymore, orchestration, we have automation. So you see something where you do, how you drill down, what is your adaptive response, so automation. And also very, very important from human authoring only, so from having only person who knows about security to human machine authoring. So we investing a lot on machine learning, on user behavior. So Splunk is really, really heavily investing in those things, so you can actually have machine learning and user behavior have a bot, but also you can basically customize if you want. So here we go. I mean, our vision is like to be the center, the nerve center, basically. So we tend not to call it anymore NOC, but a kind of security nerve center, where Splunk sits in the middle. So it's like the brain connecting the hands and the feet and the stomach and so forth. So what are this part of the security? It could be internal network security. It could be web proxy, firewall, networking, endpoint. It's just an example, right? It's like what you do once you see something on the web. How you make the firewall logs talk or understand, like endpoints. How that has been, or you kind of grabbing things from one log server and compare to another log server. Why don't you use Splunk to kind of compare and see if there's some correlation and so forth? So this is the kind of nerve center. And what you do after, maybe you see that there's some attack or something, would you shut down a server or reboot a server? So why don't you have Splunk orchestrating all that? So the more and more users, so again, sorry if I stress with GDPR, but in May, 25th of May, you have GDPR coming. So you need to have a tool like Splunk. We are not competing with any security vendor, we're actually working with them as an orchestrator, as a nerve center. Why is that possible? So we are like a universal machine data platform. So whatever data you give to us, we'll ingest, we'll index, and we make ready to search and to correlate whatever data, as obviously as long as it's human readable. So every time I go to a customer, and yesterday, they say, hey, we have this technology. Do you understand? You kind of say, yes, sir. And you just give us the data, we ingest, and we don't have a database on the back end. We store as a flat file, like Google would do it, and we index it automatically. So, and then in the middle of the conversation again. But we also have that technology. Do you kind of have a parse or something? No, dear sir, you just give us this information and we just ingest. It can be like, again, car, data. It can be like air core data, like temperature stuff. So how would you put air core data in a firewall? Put into Splunk. We can correlate maybe some heat problem that would affect your server. So that's why. So all information, again, premises, cloud as well, public, all information can be sent to Splunk. Then we use our platform, which is equal, it's the same for every application we have. So if you want the algorithm, all the same, whether you have a security problem, an IT problem, an IoT problem, the algorithm is the same. And on top of that, we build like ad hoc search, monitoring and alert, report and analyze, customize the dashboard, and so forth and so forth. Again, with data coming from any platform. So explain better. So data source can be network, endpoint, identity, firewall, threat intelligence, and so forth and so forth and so forth. Give it to Splunk. We index, and then we start, analyzing. Okay, that's the word. So we have Splunk Enterprise Security, we have Splunk User Behavior Analytics, as well as many vendors app. Everyone can basically do his own app with Splunk. We have Cisco app, we have Symantec app, we have Palo Alto app. So we have really thousands of applications that can work on top of Splunk, and work together basically in that nerve center, let's say, vision that we have. Orchestration. On top of that, obviously, we use different use case: incident investigation, forensic, security compliance reporting, GDPR, advanced threat detection, real monitoring, inside threat, anti-fraud, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. So this is just an example. Why, for example, let's put it that way, is interesting advanced threat detection. You have all your data, you have IP address, coming and going from your network, you have URL, you're pointing to, geographical zone, etc. You don't know exactly if that it's okay or not okay. So if you have a threat intelligence tool, there are many free, and you can enrich your data. That's what we do. We enrich the data you have with those information, so you know now that that IP address or that URL or that registry change is bad because it has been, it has a malicious kind of reputation, it has been on the web doing something bad. So you can really alert it straight away. And so all these threats, no matter how many you have, is paid, not paid, we can deduplicate and we can use enrich your data in a nice way. Okay? So the traditional, as I said before, traditionally, let me come back again to kind of stress the fact that traditionally we have this alert being transported in a pipeline coming from this different place. But that doesn't work anymore because you don't have a possibility to treat it, to enrich, to filter in a nice way. And the problem also that you have on the old approach is most of the time you have dirty data, in the sense maybe you can filter, but it's very noisy, it doesn't tell anything. So we kind of take care of how to kind of give to you data that is meaningful. So debugging custom big data collectors. We don't have collectors, in the sense we don't have any parser or something. Give us the data, we'll take care. It's not I call Cisco, this collector doesn't work anymore, this parser doesn't work anymore, it doesn't work with us. Give us the data straight away. If you have a problem, you have to solve it now. You cannot call your vendor to say if the integration with you, SIM doesn't work, etc. And so forth, and so forth. So little value beyond collation, etc. So you really, again, need to find a orchestrator, a universal platform that makes all security relevant data talk, correlate, and have also your team, your security team, or the customer security team work in that process that the GDPR and so forth, or asking you the new security approach. If we take analysts like Garden or a company. Company. So what they say is nowadays, again, you need an intelligence-driven SOC. So basically, not something reactive and okay, I see this, that, but something it has, the kind of machine learning or the orchestration or the adaptive response behind. So you need automation, you need orchestration. That's keywords, and that's Gartner says, not us. And what we have built from the scratch is this, basically, the automation, the orchestration. They kind of have all the actors of the security playing in a nice, smooth way. In fact, by the way, we say everything has to be aligned to the business. It's not just an alert. Where is the alert coming from? From that. Or where is the server serving? Is that server maybe from the credit card, or is that server from games? What the business wants, how that affects the transaction online, how much it has been, impacted in terms of dollar. Everything should be connected. So you have something that can marry financial, business basically to security. Okay, I won't read everything, but you could have these slides. So. Again, today's was not really going into a show you dashboard and this kind of things. We have plenty of WebEx we can do, and workshop we will do with our partners here. But it's just about talking about strategy and how vision. So these are what we call the 7 enablers of the analytics-driven SOC. ACA for us, Nerve Center. Select the right sources strategy. So on-premises, cloud-only, hybrid, split technology, you need to know straight away how you want to act. Again, yesterday we had a discussion with a customer, and they say, I don't know where to start. They need to build a SOC. Everyone needs a SOC. I say, where do you start? Okay, first thing, decide what you want. Because sometimes cloud helps, as well as, want it or not, many servers nowadays are on the cloud, even if it's not yours. I don't know, Microsoft Exchange or something is on the cloud, or so you buy an app and they say, okay, we don't deliver you something. It's like as a service. So try and first understand your strategy of security. Second enablement, adopt an adaptive security architecture. Not like, like you have to go there and manually go somewhere else. Something adaptive. I explain a bit what we mean by adaptive. So basically, again, you have Splunk Enterprise, Splunk Cloud, so it's our platform. So everything will sit there. We don't have different tools, like you need to buy this or that. Splunk, what sits on the base is the same. The license is the same for everything. And then on top of that, we have several, actually thousands of app or vendors that work with us in that adaptive response, in that orchestration. Okay, I see a virus, and what I do next? Maybe you go to the firewall, or maybe I go to, I don't know exactly, anyway, all the things, but, or how about a ticket, ServiceNow, or BMC, I shut down a server on Amazon, so all these things are, in a way, correlated, orchestrated with Splunk. And on top of that, obviously, we have our solutions, like Splunk Enterprise, Splunk User Behavior, and the other app. So correlation across your data is relevant, is important. And obviously insights from different vendors. So optimize threat intelligence management, again, very, very important. So nowadays, how of course, if you're a good guy, you understand what impact or what they do, what an hacker can do on your network. But you need always to have a good management of your threat intelligence. Threat intelligence is really what helps you straight away, because those hackers are not hacking only your customer, single customer, but they use the same script, the same manner to try everywhere. So if one of these institutions is kind of spotting this, it will put on the kind of IP or URL, again, all this information that are like represented threat. And so you have all this threat intelligence that now you need to use. How would you use if you don't have a tool like orchestrating that, like Splunk? What Splunk does is basically marrying all this information coming from there are nowadays really hundreds, dozens for sure, most of them are free, but some are paid. So you can use most of them, all of them, and to be sure that maybe someone is missing something that somebody has it, but then you need to duplicate, to match marry with your data. So, and then Splunk is there to orchestrate, to marry, to adapt. That's adaptive response, this thing. So collect, use and share info with partners for. Deploy advanced analytics. Again, as I said before, we are investing a lot on user behavior. We are investing in machine learning. We have a lot of correlation, obviously. That's why Splunk is also known to correlate disparate kind of source of data. Imagine like this kind. We call that swim lane, for example. It's one of the dashboard we have. So this swim lane represents, for example, data coming from an antivirus, data coming from a firewall, data coming from a badging system, data coming from the hair core. You can customize it way you want. And then, as you may know, if there is an attack, it doesn't go straight away to it doesn't need only the firewall, but it goes like it has a kind of path. It goes to the firewall, then I don't know, a DNS maybe is on the way to maybe it goes then to an Active Directory, take an account or credential, then it goes to another server, and so forth, so forth. So every kind of this jump is, it would have, for example, an event. So what about if that event create a pattern, and you see like every, 10 minutes or an hour, the same pattern, you may think that could be, an attack. And so you can see here, but on the left hand side, if you highlight that, you will have all the information about this kind of potential attack. Proactive investigation and threat activity. Basically what we have been saying so far, I don't want to repeat myself, it's like search and visualize is not only the only thing to do, but you have to automate with all the information that you have, enrich that data to have really like to figure out what is the address, what service is on top of that server and so forth. So enrich your data, investigate, use the threat hunt to have a very good vision of the attack, of the potential attack. Again, promote security automation and human efficiency. So that's part of the adaptive response. If you see this represented, the different vendors that work with us on a kind of automated adaptive response way. So for Scout, I just mentioned one, CyberArk, Okta, Zift, and Titanium, Carbon Black, and so forth, so forth. So Palo Alto, Cisco, Fortinet, Symantec. So we have all these vendor interfacing with that, where we sit in the middle and we say, okay, we see some credential security stuff. So maybe I see there is something, then I do a double check with Palo Alto, and then I shut down that server with VMware, or I close that port, TCP port. So this is like the brain that orchestrates all this adaptive response. So monitoring, intelligent monitoring, double check, report, because this is also important, reporting, journal investigation. Because when an auditor comes to you and say, okay, there was an attack, and that number of cards has been, exfiltrated, can you show me what you did? You need to report on that. So you need your brain that connects to reporting things, which we have, and your journal investigation. We show the auditors every search you did, every automation you did, every response you made, and the outcome. Very important to automate and don't leave to human efficiency. Like help your security person to be to follow a process, to record everything. And so last one, drive enterprise, not just security insight. So basically that's, I would take, if there's one slide you need to take away from me, is this one. So Splunk is not only a security tool. We were pushed to security by all analysts because obviously the way we ingest data, because all data is relevant, because we do all the analysis, mirroring, orchestration, and so forth. But we also an IT operation company as well as business analytic companies. Hey, but that also, they are not different tools, but it's the same tool. The platform is the same. You can use the same data to ask a security question and to ask business question or IT operation question. And actually, even tell you more, you need to, if you want to correlate your security with the business, you need a tool to understand everything basically. Because you want to know if a transaction is failing or somebody is doing something, what this transaction is carrying in terms of money. How much, if I offer day affect, will affect, this transaction or this application will be affected for offer day, how much or how many dollars has been lost and so forth, So if I do something, any calculation, so you want something that is able to correlate and ask different questions to all your data in the same manner. And you want to avoid silos on your company. I'm old to this, so I know 10 years ago, you go to the database person or the application person, they have their own tool, because they want to say, oh, I didn't see anything, everything is green here, I'm okay. And the other guy, oh yeah, I'm okay, or the database is perfect, so it's no problem. So everyone kind of, otherwise they will finger pointing. Now, the process has changed. You want something that is equal for everyone, the data is the same, so we need to go beyond the silos and have like an end-to-end approach with some platform like Splunk. Obviously the more you go we have use cases, but I leave this one. Just a little note behind that. I've been saying already, you will hear more and more GDPR, and GDPR is basically telling you this. GDPR is asking that you see where is your data. You audit your network and your enterprise. Where is your important information sitting? Do you know if that is affected by, it could be affected by threat or something? So then put a process in place. Who is doing what? So who is the user who has Splunk and see, then what is an alert? Is the alert equal to the other alert? So all these things are very important with GDPR. So you need to, again, have a technology like Splunk that orchestrate all your security component. That's also a slide to mention. I mean, as you can see, we have been from niche player, we are, ramping up to the leader, and this is an old slide. We have a new one where even higher. Sorry about that. I didn't see it was 2016, but yeah, we are basically growing more and more with more analysts, because as simple as that, the tendency is, we have a tool that we built from the scratch, so we are not kind of following, we have something and then we kind of readjusting what we have to, take care of the new security issue and tendencies, but it's just we were built like this. We were built with data in mind. So we were built with the machine data kind of analyzer, if you want. We were called the Google of the machine data. So just a couple of slides to end this presentation. I don't even know if I'm out of, more or less, I should be good. Yeah, 2 minutes left. We have plenty of workshop. Again, I didn't want to do any in-depth technical stuff. But we have plenty of workshops. We are enabling our distribution here and our partner to deliver workshop like the boss of the SOC or, oops. Oh. What's up? Yeah. So data source assessment, very important. We do DSA workshop to say, what is your data? Where is it relying? What is, what kind of business-related data you have? How can you ingest? How can you correlate? All this workshop will be available, risk evaluation. And I encourage you to follow both online, we do a lot of web access, or with your partners, have partners, your partners. And last slide, okay, just to say thank you. And yeah, the buzzword, or, that I would like you to go away is like security nerve center. This is also I take away that I'd like you to go away. So the SOC is a very used word, but if you have now understood a little bit Splunk, you can replace that with security nerve center. So a place where everything is connected. So security are not seeing anymore like a PC is there connected to the firewall to the intrusion detection. You need some brain in the middle that is actually orchestrating everything, is giving a process, is giving the right weight to the right alert. It's kind of deduplicating alert that doesn't, mean anything. Is enriching your data with, third-party solution, and yeah, and it's taking care of, it's taking into account, the big data basically, that everything is digitalized, and you cannot cope anymore with a tool that doesn't kind of ingest the amount of data we are able to ingest. I don't know if you have any, I was told that there is a way to see if you have any questions, let's see. But, yeah, sorry for that. I don't see any question, maybe somebody can help me from the... Anyway, if I don't see any question yet, so if you have any question, with the organizer, we'll have your email, and we will answer, obviously, shortly. Yeah? Thank you.